As the tragedy of the Israel-Palestine conflict continues to wage on, it appears that Israel's decided to shift the dynamic of how they're tackling this conflict. Of course, they won't be shifting the fundamental of going after innocent civilians within Palestine and bombing them relentlessly, but what they will be doing is finally starting up their targeted assassination campaigns once again. And what's so crucial to focus on here is this is actually how Israel used to operate on the political front of dealing with their opposition within that of the Middle Eastern world. What they did was use assassination campaigns. But Benjamin Netanyahu and his ilk, operating on effectively everything outside of the standards of going after the leadership of your opposition, as they have done nothing more than persecute the innocent people within Palestine specifically, claiming that these refugee camps you see, well, there was one Hamas member, therefore we were justified in dropping a 2,000-pound bomb that the Americans gave us so we could obliterate 74 children. Unbelievably insane line of logic, but what you can come to a realization is that this line of logic will only activate the wider world further against Israel, as we have so consistently seen since October 7th. And the big thing to pay attention to here is, like I've said, the nature of how Israel used to operate with targeted assassination campaigns. Well, we're seeing that be brought to the forefront once again. And who is it that Israel has gone after? Well, apparently, the leader of Hezbollah has now been wiped off of the map in Lebanon, and through an airstrike no less, which also killed 3 innocent people. And on top of that, we also saw a targeted assassination campaign of Ismail Haniyeh, Hamas's political leader, and in doing so, we saw that this happened in Tehran, which has only caused what? Rockets to be volleyed towards Israel from both Iran and Hezbollah. And what's so crucial to focus on there? Well, the Iron Dome is working in full fashion and there's nothing that's gotten in, but what it does highlight is the possibility of us stepping into a wider war. And that is something that I am most certainly not willing to go do, is die for Israel. So now let's jump in and see what we've got with the insanity of the evolution of the Israel-Palestine conflict. Here we have from antiwar.com, Israel bombs Beirut, claims it targeted a senior Hezbollah commander. Hezbollah has warned of a big response to any strikes deep inside Lebanon. An Israeli airstrike targeted the southern suburbs of the Lebanese capital of Beirut on Tuesday, a step that could escalate the Israel-Hezbollah conflict into a full-blown war. Israel said that it targeted a senior Hezbollah commander, Fouad Shakur. A Lebanese government official told CNN that Shakur survived the strike, while Israel is claiming that he was killed. Lebanon's health ministry is reporting that 3 civilians, including 2 children, were killed in the attack and 74 others have been wounded. The Israeli military claims Shakur was responsible for the rocket that killed 12 Druze children in the Israeli-occupied Golan Heights on Saturday. Hezbollah denied responsibility for the killing of the children and has said that they were hit by an Israeli air defense rocket. After the strike, the U.S. expressed strong support for Israel against Hezbollah. Our commitment to Israel's security is ironclad and unwavering against all Iran-backed threats, including Lebanese Hezbollah, said National Security Council spokeswoman Adrienne Watson. According to Al Jazeera, Hezbollah has warned that if Israel launched a strike deep into Lebanese territory, it would mean all rules of war are off. The last time Israel bombed Beirut was on January 2nd, when the Israeli military launched a drone strike that targeted a senior Hamas official. Media reports said that the U.S. warning Israel against targeting Beirut has happened, but the U.S. is still providing unconditional military aid and is not using any of its leverage to rein in Israel. The U.S. has also previously ensured it would back Israel in a full-blown war in Lebanon. Since October 7th, Israel and Hezbollah have been trading strikes across the border almost every single day. According to the AFP tally, Israeli strikes on southern Lebanon have killed at least 527 people, including 104 children. On the Israeli side, 81 soldiers and 24 civilians have been killed, a total that includes 12 Druze children. 527 people, 104 of them children, 12 of which died playing soccer in a field. And of course, we don't know who's responsible for this, but we can most certainly make our speculations. Jumping in now with another article from antiwar.com covering specifically this, here you can see Druze mourn 12 children killed by rocket in Israeli-occupied Golan Heights. Israel is blaming the strike on Hezbollah, which denies any responsibility and says Israeli anti-rocket interceptors are what hit the children. Now let's go ahead and jump in and see what this article has for us. On Sunday, members of the Arab Druze community in the Israeli-occupied Golan Heights mourned 12 children who were killed when a rocket hit a soccer field in the village of Majd al-Shams a day earlier. Israel has pinned the blame for the rocket strike on Hezbollah, which denies any responsibility. According to Axios, Hezbollah told the UN that an Israeli anti-rocket interceptor hit the soccer field. The U.S. is backing Israel's claim, with Secretary of State Antony Blinken saying there was every indication that Hezbollah was behind the strike. For its part, Syria has blamed the incident on Israel and said the Israeli government is now trying to use escalation on Lebanon. As part of attempts to escalate the situation in the region, Israeli-occupied entities committed a heinous crime on Saturday in Majd al-Sham's town, then held the Lebanese National Resistance accountable for this crime. The Syrian Foreign Ministry has now come forward saying, according to the Cradle. Lebanese Foreign Minister Abdallah Abu Habib said, since the beginning of the war, Hezbollah has been targeting military sites and not civilians, and I don't think that it carried out this attack on Majd al-Shams. He called for an investigation and said that the attack must have been carried out by other organizations, or it must have been an Israeli mistake, or a mistake by Hezbollah. Just a couple of things to touch on before we go ahead and move on with the rest of this video. Here you see Israel has pinned the blame for the rocket strike on Hezbollah, which has denied any responsibility in this, and of course the United States, and specifically Antony Blinken himself, coming forward claiming that Israel bears no responsibility, and there is every indication that this falls on Hezbollah, of course. The United States doing the bidding of Israel once again, shouting whatever talking point it is that Israel volleys into the landscape. There's no surprise here. Then what's so fascinating specifically, though, is Syria stepping up, claiming that Israel did this specifically in an attempt to fan the flames of conflict to create escalation and wider war with Lebanon. And that's a big factor. And then what we bring it into the forefront now would be the Lebanese foreign minister trying to make sure that he can douse these flames and make sure conflict does not arise and escalate even further than we're already seeing it, claiming that this strike, well, it must have been carried out by other organizations, or it must have been a mistake by Israel or a mistake by Hezbollah. That is how this is being tackled by the Lebanese foreign minister, very clearly not wanting to go to war with Israel because he understands that that is effectively going to war with the United States and the liberal world empire as a whole. Alrighty, now we move on, and here we see from antiwar.com again, Israeli drone strike kills senior Hezbollah member in southern Lebanon. Isn't that just remarkable? Foreign citizens urged to leave Lebanon as Israeli invasion looms. And that is what people are freaking out about now, is the possibility of a wider escalation with the possible invasion of Lebanon by Israeli troops. Here we now see from antiwar.com again, Israel preparing for multi-day reprisal attack by Iran and Hezbollah. And I wonder why that could possibly be. Maybe it's because of the consistent factors of possible escalation that we're now seeing. And you want to know what very well could be leading us to even more escalation in the future surrounding Israel and Palestine? Well, here we see Netanyahu has appointed a new spokesman who wants ethnic cleansing of Gaza. Omer Dostri has called for settlements to be established in areas of Gaza that are under Israeli control, and what he's demanding is that they are removed, quote-unquote, voluntarily from the region, thus we can have the ethnic cleansing of Gaza. And where will these people go? Well, they don't care. All they want is Judea and Samaria, and because of that, we see that it doesn't matter what standards we visit upon these people, all that matters is we achieve our end goal. Wild that this is what we're dealing with, but we have a religious war backed by that of the insane zealotry of people who love to fund endless conflict because of how much it bolsters their own pocketbooks. And with that, you have the disaster that you see before you. I'm going to go ahead and call it there. Thank you for watching if you got this far. Thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you didn't. Tell me where I'm wrong in the comment section down below. Stay lovely, stay great, tell someone you love them. Peace out.